In the last couple weeks, I put a post on the community tab that said that I'd be doing a Q&A video, or questions and answers, where I would answer your Star Wars questions, questions about my own Star Wars likes, dislikes, or really anything else, as long as it's appropriate. I got an overwhelming response to this post, and I'm super excited to share it all with you in this special edition Star Wars Fanatic. Stick around, there are some great ideas here that I think you'll all enjoy. For those of you who have been around for a while, you know one thing. I love Star Wars. Duh. You probably guessed that even if you haven't been around for a while. I created this YouTube channel as a way to express that love of Star Wars. I just wanted to talk about it without annoying my family about it. Yeah, they're starting to get a bit freaked out with Kevin 2.0 standing in the corner when they come down the stairs. But at least I didn't bug them about it. By the way, Kevin 2.0 is my mannequin that holds my customized Mandalorian armor that I'm building. But that's just a little backstory into me. Let's get on with your questions and my answers. I wanted to give the post I put in the community tab time to reach as many people as possible, or ferment, if you will. I wanted a lot of questions, and by all means, keep the questions coming. If you don't see answers to yours, I will do more of these in the future, I'm sure. Like I've said before, I do read every comment on my videos. I may not have time to respond to all of them, but I do read them. So thank you and keep them coming. I am doing this unscripted aside from your questions. My answers are completely unscripted. I have read the questions one time, but I haven't premeditated answers for them. So what you're getting is the raw truth, and that truth may change later on, like our love for Star Wars does. Our love for individual items in it changes to a degree. Which movie do you like more? Changes from time to time, from one character, area, ship, or even an event. But as of this recording, these are my true answers to your questions. But let me preface by saying I'm not an authority. These are my opinions, unless otherwise stated. Canon always overrules what I think could or should happen, and that's okay. But they really don't have to listen to me, and probably don't. I wish they would. All right, let's get on with it. The first question. Blazecap writes, I want to know your honest thoughts on Ailyn Vel as a character. Would be a good fit for Disney canon, like in the Book of Boba Fett Season 2. Well, we've discussed this many times, Blazecap, and I mean, my feelings haven't changed. I want Ailyn Vel to be in The Mandalorian, the Book of Boba Fett, something, continuing a story. A character as great as Boba Fett shouldn't be left with Boba Fett. It shouldn't end with his DNA. And for those of you who are confused as to who Blazecap and I are talking about, Ailyn Vel is the daughter of Boba Fett and Cynthis Vel. This is a legend story where Boba Fett married at the age of 18, had a daughter with Cynthis Vel, and then was forced to leave his family. His daughter got angry about it and hunted him down. It wasn't until his granddaughter that the family reconciled and became whole again. But yes, I think Ailyn Vel should be in the storyline somewhere. It would be a great way to continue past the Skywalker era and past the Imperial First Order and all that. It'd bring in a new era. It'd encompass things, bring in a larger galaxy. So yeah, I want to see Ailyn Vel. Next up, we have Collecting with Cool. What can the films do going forward to continue the Star Wars universe? Basing films on characters is one thing, but they can spread thin fast. What are your thoughts on where upcoming films can go, past, present, and future? I love this question, and you're absolutely right. Basing Star Wars on characters can spread pretty thin, pretty fast. As we've known, most of Star Wars has been based off of the Skywalker family, so it's really been character driven, just single characters, really. Anakin, Luke, even Rey, and Ben Solo. But what I think's been doing right is the High Republic novels, and that's more of a all-encompassing story. It's more about the story at hand, the galaxy at hand, the bigger universe, so to speak, more than just characters. It's about the story. It's story driven, and it can go across multiple generations. I'm not talking about our generations. I'm talking about generations in the Star Wars universe. It could go across multiple generations of that. And I think it's going to. And I think that's what they should continue to do. Not just with the High Republic, but with anything Star Wars. I mean, look at The Mandalorian. Mandalorian, great show. But how long can it keep up? How long can we keep watching Din Djarin and Grogu? I mean, 5 seasons, maybe. I mean, MASH was one of the best shows of the 70s and early 80s, and even it had to end. Friends, same thing, had to end because people get older. They want to move on with their lives. They don't want to stick with one character. So if you have a storyline that can encompass multiple characters and just keep going back and forth and going through that and then bring in new characters and have them just as important as the other ones, as long as it meets the storyline, that's awesome. Look at Game of Thrones. They did it perfectly. And I think more of that could be done with Star Wars. Now, I'm not saying that Star Wars needs to stay away from Din Djarin, Grogu, Boba Fett, or Luke Skywalker, but, you know, Luke is showing up in some places he really doesn't need to be, but is what it is. People like Luke Skywalker, and he can show up, I guess, just as long as he doesn't time warp back to the High Republic and show up there. That would be kind of silly. But yeah, that's the answer to that question. The next question comes from Chineta P, where Chineta had this to say: if you had the opportunity to be cast in any Star Wars movie or series, i.e. Mando, Book of Boba Fett, Obi-Wan, etc., which would you choose? What role would you like to play, i.e. existing role, alien, bounty hunter, Wookiee, create a new character, etc.? Okay, this question is so cool. I think about this all the time, not because it's a reality or anything will ever happen from it, because I do think about it. And how many Star Wars fans don't think about what you would like to do if you were in a Star Wars movie or series? We all imagine it, even if you wanted to be just a stormtrooper, just so you could be on set and see what's going on, or if you wanted to be a bounty hunter and so on and so forth. Me, if we're talking realistically what could happen, let's see, I'm too tall for a stormtrooper at 6'5". I have too much of a belly for a death trooper. Yeah, man bod caught up with me. Sorry, everybody. Sorry to disappoint the ladies and some of you fellows. No, but seriously, let's see, if it was realistic, I mean, I guess I could probably be in the suit of Darth Vader, although I'm not very physically active like that, and I'm not a swordsman. But realistically, they'd probably just cast me as some dumpy looking extra on the side. But if this was my fantasy and what I would like to do, I'd love to be in the Book of Boba Fett or the Mandalorian or anything with Mandalorians in it, really. And I even have my own costume. So cast me in that, and that'd be awesome. You know, I could even wear a girth belt to squeeze in my little tummy so I don't look like Dad Bod Fett or something, you know. No offense to Tamir Morrison. Love the guy. Love what he does. But no, realistically, if they were ever to cast me in something, I think I'd want to go for something either post Boba Fett, like his lineage on down, because that's what my character that I've created is. He's kind of the great-grandson of Boba Fett, Ailyn Vel. And then, if not that, then let's go back to the beginning where Jester Muriel is, and I'll be one of his sidekicks. You know, I'd change my name, whatever. But yeah, cool question. Thank you for that. Next up, we have Matt's Collection with a less serious question, but still a great question nonetheless. Why do hot dogs come in packages of 10, but hot dog buns come in packages of 8? Simple answer to that: marketing. They want you to buy more. You have to buy more buns, and when you buy more buns, you have too many buns, so then you have to buy more hot dogs, more glizzies, more buns. Keep it going, you know, and all the way down to you're at, I think it's like 5 of each. So you end up with 20. So you end up with 20 packs of hot dogs and 20 packs of buns that you have nothing to do with other than store in your bug out bag. Back in the late 80s and early 90s, they switched Pepsi, Coca-Cola, pop soda, whatever you want to call it, from 16 ounces to 20 ounces. But during the transition, they had at the top, it said 4 free ounces. So I thought, okay, why can't I just go into the store and drink the 4 free ounces and put the rest back? It's free. It doesn't say I have to pay for the other 16 ounces to get it. So I thought, okay, I'll just drink the 4 free ounces. And I tried it, and yeah, I got in trouble. But, you know, I was a stupid teenager. You know, lots of things going on there. Yeah, but thanks for the question. I really like that one. And now we have a question from our longtime supporter, Dr. Moran. And Dr. Moran says this: if you could have any character's weapon, saber, ship, or ability from Star Wars, what would it be? All of it. Pretty simple, Dr. No, I'm kidding. I think if I had to go with any of them, I'd go with the Slave One. I mean, or Boba Fett's Starship or Fire Spray 31, whatever you want to call it. I would go with that. Look how cool it is. I mean, yeah, it looks like a snail, but look at the weaponry on it. And look how the cockpit rotates and the cargo hold rotates, and you can store frozen people in it and that kind of thing. As far as saber, I'd have the dark saber with me on the Slave One, Fire Spray, Boba Fett's Starship thingy. And what else? Characters. If I could have a character, oh, never mind. Character's weapon. Yeah, I think that'd be it. I think Dengar's rifle would be pretty cool too. But yeah, that's my pick. Thank you, Dr. I really appreciate you, buddy. Moving right along, we have Cynthis Campa, and I love this question. I think you did a video on it already, on Boba Fett being the true Mandalore, since Jango was the Mandalore before I researched Book of Boba Fett, and at the end he says he's not cut out to be a ruler. What do you think of that? Boba will leave Cobb Vanth in charge and go on to help Din Djarin rule Mandalore just to mess with Bo-Katan. Well, what do I think of that? I don't think Boba Fett was saying he's not cut out to rule. I think what he was saying is he's not cut out to be a crime boss. He was a little too compassionate to be a crime boss, and we saw that even at the end when he's walking through the street and people are handing him fruit, and he's chucking it over to Chrysanthemum, and everybody's bowing to him and nodding to him, waving to him, and saying, "Hey, what up, dude?" And he's like, "Oh, hey, just chilling. I just killed this giant thing. I rode a Rancor. It was pretty neat." But I think what he meant was he's not meant to be a crime boss. He's too compassionate for it, like I said, and he didn't have the cojones to just kill indiscriminately like the other crime bosses did. He didn't have the cojones to go against the other, crime leaders in the state that he was in, meaning that when he was ready to take over, he was just telling them, "Hey, look, okay, y'all follow me? No? Okay, don't follow me." He didn't have the balls, so to speak, to just cut one over their throat, throw them in the Rancor pit, and be done with them and show the other ones, "Look, I ain't messing around." So I do think he could still be Mandalore, and I've made a lot of videos on that, actually. I think you're talking about the one that's got over like almost 700,000 views or something. But I do think he'll be Mandalore. My hope for that is dwindling a little bit because, the teaser stuff coming up for Din Djarin, and great for Din Djarin. If that's what happens with him, if he becomes a Mandalore, cool. Like I said in those other videos, I'm fine with it if my theories are wrong. But I just hope they do stick with Legends a little bit. But no, I don't think Boba Fett meant that he wasn't meant to lead. I think he meant he wasn't meant to be a ruthless leader, if that makes any sense. And thank you for that question, Cynthia. It really means a lot. All right, so yeah, this is going to be a little lengthier video. I forgot to mention that in the beginning. There's 14 questions I have to get through, and we're on number 7 right now. And this is from Joe M, who asks, "What is your opinion of the expanded universe? Do you have any stories you like?" Well, that depends on which expanded universe you're talking about. If you're talking about the High Republic, love it. Love the High Republic. I know a lot of people don't, but that's okay. They don't have to, and I don't fault them if they don't like it. For me personally, my tastes, it seems pretty good, and it has this real Game of Thrones feel to it where one character can be ended at any time, and you don't know which one it's going to be. So I like that. I like that it's not character driven. But if you're talking about the old expanded universe, i.e. Legends in the Star Wars universe, then I like the Bounty Hunter series about Boba Fett and the Bounty Hunters, about how Boba Fett survived the Sarlacc. That was pretty neat. I also like, let's talk about what I don't like in the expanded universe, because I do love the Thrawn trilogy, Heir to the Empire and all that. That was great, minus Mara Jade. Sorry, Mara Jade lovers. Not a big fan of her. I think it kind of took away from what Luke Skywalker was by being married and having kids. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But, I mean, she was a cool character. I just didn't think she fit. But dislikes in the expanded universe were Luke, the 2Us, the Dark Empire thing. Didn't like it. Thought it was cheesy. Thought it shouldn't have been written. I know some people like it, and they're glad it was written, and good for them. I'm happy for you. But the Dark Empire stuff, not a big fan. Everything else seemed pretty cool. I love the Old Republic stuff. Most people want Revan back so bad. I like Revan, don't get me wrong, but Nihilus is my guy. Anybody that can eat a planet, and is named Lord of Hunger. Come on. And he's got a skull face. Ugh, that's badass, all in itself. So, Darth Nihilus, my guy. Boba Fett and the old stuff, cool. Open Seasons with Jango Fett, the comic series, amazing. Good stuff. Great background for Boba Fett and Jango Fett. And for those of you who don't watch baseball or don't know what baseball is or don't care about baseball, the seventh inning stretch is just a moment in between the two halves of the seventh inning where you get up and stretch out. And that's what we're going to do here. Since we're done with 7 questions, we got 7 more to go. So with that said, if you're new here, go on, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment down below and share your feelings with me, about anything really, about this video, about other videos, about, what's going on with your life. Just let's talk. I like that. So hit the subscribe, leave a comment, leave a like. And now on with the questions. Next on the Q&A list, we have Wampa Stampa 1138 with the Journeyman Protector's badge for his symbol. Awesome. Love it. Do you think we will ever get a canon Dash Rendar character? Not the blink and you miss it Outrider taking off in Mos Eisley in episode 4, but a proper introduction. I do not. Sadly, I don't think we'll get a Dash Rendar. That's one character I think they're trying to stay away from. And if you don't know who Dash Rendar is, he's the protagonist in the Shadows of the Empire novels and video game from the early to mid 90s. And I'll tell you why we're not going to get a Dash Rendar, and that is because we now have a Bylurk Valance. I know Valance has been around for a long time, but this Valance is new and improved, and he has some characteristics of Dash Rendar. So I think they're going to go with that a little bit more. So if you want to call Bylurk Valance Dash Rendar, then go right ahead, because he's not the same guy, but he's pretty close. And next with the little thing I like to call a Q&A, we have Sorcerer Supreme 007, who had this to ask me. What expanded universe material do you want to see incorporated into upcoming shows and movies? Well, there are a couple things. One, I want to see Ailyn Vel. I think that was the first question of this video. I want to see Ailyn Vel. I want to see future Fett, or rather Clan Fett members. I want to see the lineage continue. That would continue a Mandalorian storyline, and I think that would be awesome. It could keep going, branching off into different stories from there even. Disney Plus would be full of Star Wars shows if they just went on and kept going with generations after the Empire and the First Order. That's what I'd like to see. And the second thing I'd like to see is the Grisk to become the new Yuuzhan Vong. I want to see that happen. I want to see Thrawn and Ezra team up with the Ghost Crew and the Mandalorians and Ahsoka and maybe even Luke Skywalker. Whatever. I want to see them all team up against the Grisk and the Chiss Ascendancy. I think that would be so amazing. Next up, we have my mother. Yes, she is actually my mother, and she is a big supporter of this channel. So be kind to her. She's nice. She says, and her name's Bonnie Hoepker, by the way, this may have been asked already, was Jango Fett a real Mandalorian? Yes, Jango Fett was a real Mandalorian. For a long time, that was up for debate because of what Prime Minister Olmec said in the Clone Wars. He said, I don't know how he got that armor, so on and so forth. He's just a common bounty hunter. That was just one guy, one political leader's lie. Then in The Mandalorian, it was confirmed that Jango Fett was a foundling. He was a Mandalorian raised by Jaster Muriel. He was from Concord Dawn, just as the legend story said he was. So now it puts him back in as a real Mandalorian. And ex facto, Boba Fett's going to become a Mandalorian too. I'm sure he already is, just he hasn't really confirmed that yet. But we'll see. And if I'm right, I'm going to go out and gloat. That's what I'm going to do. Not rub it in people's faces, but, I did tell people that in my other videos that if I turned out wrong, they could come back and tell me. But guess what? I'm going to go back in those comments, and if I'm right, I'm going to tell them. And not because I'm arrogant or I think my way or the highway or anything like that. I'm not at all. I'm very humble. I know that anything of mine, any theory or story that I come up with or character-driven, whatever, I know I could be wrong, and that's fine. If I am wrong, it's fine. I mean, who'd have thought Darth Vader would have taken off his helmet? And who'd have thought that we'd have seen him get his helmet slashed twice? We wouldn't have. But it happened, and I didn't speculate it, and I didn't theorize on it. But Boba Fett being a Mandalorian, yeah, I'm pretty certain that's going to happen. He's going to be in The Mandalorian Season 3. He was in The Mandalorian Season 2, The Mandalorian. And he had his own show, Book of Boba Fett, where he tried to branch off away from Mandalorian or bounty hunting, or whatever. But he's going to be drawn back into the Mandalorian society and this big Mandalorian war coming up. Yeah, I think there's going to be a big Mandalorian war. Anyways, yes, Jango Fett is a real Mandalorian. All right, moving right along, we have Black Beskar Studios with their question. That is, what do you think of the unreleased Boba Fett game, Star Wars 1313? Do you think it was a good concept, and do you think it should have been released? Star Wars video games are a real touchy subject with me right now, with two of them that I was really anticipating being shelved, with the Knights of the Old Republic remake and the Eclipse game being shelved, along with the 1313. I do think it was a great idea, and I would have loved to see it. I would have loved to play it. Bounty Hunter for the N64 was one of my favorites, or the PlayStation 2, whichever I had it on. That was one of my favorites back in the day. I loved that game. It was clunky and crappy, but the storyline was great, and it was pretty much a free world type of thing before free world even existed. So, yeah, I think 1313 would have been amazing. It would have added so much more to the character of Boba Fett, so much that we haven't got yet of his younger years, becoming bounty hunter and the low lives of the Coruscant underworld. Yeah, I think it should have been released, but as I said, Star Wars video games right now are a touchy subject with me, and until I see the next Jedi Fallen Order or Jedi Survivor or whatever it's called now, until I see that actually hit the market, I'm not keeping my hopes up for that one either. It seems like EA is just chucking things out left and right, so I don't know. Where's our 10 games we were supposed to get in 10 years? I don't think it happened. Anyways, yeah. I do think the game should have been released, but at the same time, it was during the buyout, and Disney haphazardly kind of threw everything out at that time, including that game, which they should have just put it under different development, maybe kept the same story writers, but better development. As we can see, back in the day, Lucasfilm, their video game department, wasn't all that hot. And if you don't believe me, just play Jedi Power Battles. Or whatever it was called. Was that it? It was a great game, but it was just clunky. A lot of Star Wars games have been clunky from the 90s and early 2000s. But yeah, I've rambled too much. Thank you for the question, though, Black Beskar Studios. I really appreciate it. All right, next up we have Lara A. And Lara A has been a longtime supporter of the channel as well, and I really appreciate that, Lara. Thank you. And she says, at Star Wars Fanatic, what do you think? Who do you think will train Grogu, or do you think Grogu will only be a Mandalorian? Who do you want to train Grogu if it was up to you? Awesome question. I obviously don't think it's going to be Luke Skywalker. Yay, we've seen enough of him. Let's move on to somebody else. Training Grogu, I don't know that he will be fully trained as a Jedi or even with his Force abilities, but if he is trained, I would say it would have to be somebody that could rove around with them, become kind of a team with Din Djarin and Grogu. So that would be kind of hard to find right now, unless it was somebody like Cal Kestis and his crew, or Ahsoka may be able to do it, but she's already said she doesn't want to train him because of his commitments, which kind of makes sense, I guess, but at the same time, Ahsoka didn't like the Jedi Order of old, so why she would stick to that rule is beyond me. But Ahsoka's a badass, so I forgive her. But who do I think would train him? I don't know. I don't think Ezra Bridger would be up for the task because he's got his hands full right now with the Ghost Crew. Well, he will with the Ghost Crew, the Grisk, the Chiss Ascendancy Thrawn, all that stuff. So I don't know. Maybe it'll be a surprise person. Maybe Plo Koon or who is that other guy? Quinlan Voss. Maybe Quinlan Voss will show up. He was kind of a roving guy who liked to travel a lot, so maybe the trio would be cool. He's teaching, Grogu how to fight as a Jedi, and then he's teaching Din Djarin how to use the Darksaber. I think that'd be pretty interesting. And next up, we have a real-life question from Red Beast Gaming 130mm. And Red Beast has this to say: do you hunt? My main talking point is self-sufficiency. As of right now, I do not hunt. Does that mean I can't hunt? No, not at all. I do know how to hunt. I have hunted before. I was raised with a family of hunters, so I do know how to hunt, and I do know how to be self-sufficient. I also know how to live off the land. I know how to forage. I know how to grow my own food. I know how to purify water, so on and so forth. I'm a big outdoor advocate, and I love it. Now, with that said, an apocalypse comes. I'm pretty sure I can survive for at least a little while. Along with my kids and my wife, we would survive. Unless said apocalypse takes out all living life, then I shall perish with everyone else. So, yeah, thank you for that question. I really appreciate it. Getting to know Star Wars Fanatic a little bit better, I see. And for our 14th and final comment of the day, we have Nomad X7, who has this to ask me: future Thrawn villain. I like that. Straight and to the point, 3 words and a question mark. Awesome. And I think I've already discussed this, but my future Thrawn villain is going to continue being the Grisk. I think what we've seen in the Thrawn novel Treason is just a touch of what we're going to see with the Grisk. Why introduce them if not to make them an overarching villain? It makes a lot of sense. They're kind of like the Nile at this point in the High Republic, so maybe they're related in some way, shape, or form, but maybe not. But I think it's going to become like a Yuzan Vong type thing. So, yeah, thank you for the question. I do think it's going to be the Grisk in the Thrawn series. I don't know if we'll get any more Thrawn novels. Probably not until after we get a few appearances of him in live action. And thank you, Timothy Zahn, for creating this character because he's amazing. He's my favorite Imperial. I don't consider Darth Vader an Imperial because he's more of a Sith. Yeah, he's with the Empire and he's fighting for the Empire, but he doesn't hold Imperial rank. So, yeah, Thrawn's my favorite Imperial. Brilliant, genius guy. Never outsmarted. But yeah, that's the end of this question and answer. Those are the only questions I got in this video. It turned out to be a little bit longer than I normally do, so I like that. I like talking with you guys. I like hanging out with you, answering these Star Wars questions and stories about life in general. It's just what I do. That's why I'm here. Hang out with you guys. Talk about Star Wars. Talk about life in general. Talk about hunting and that sort of thing. So thank you for the questions. I really appreciate it. If you have any more, look at the community tab and see where I have the Q&A type of dialogue going on and ask some more questions. I'll be happy to answer them. I'll do another video like this if you guys want me to. Let me know in the comments below if that's what you'd like to see. More of these type of videos. I do want to do a live stream here soon, but I am cooking up something with another YouTuber, so we will be doing something live stream here before too long at all. So yeah, look forward to that. Also, if you haven't done so yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications. See all my content. Go through all my 400 and something videos and watch all of them. Yes, you. Watch every one of my videos. Why? I don't know. Maybe you'll like them. Maybe you won't. Especially watch my first video. A lot of people have been doing that lately. Yeah, it's embarrassing. Yeah, don't watch it. All right. So that's going to be all for today. Thank you all for watching. This is Gerald from Star Wars Fanatic signing off, wishing you all great health, peace, and happiness. Thank you for watching. And remember, this is the way, the only way.